Hello my friends, my name is Tim Johnson. This is a short video in which I want to share with you the best piece of advice I was ever given about getting sober and staying sober from alcohol, drugs or whatever your addiction is. The video is aimed at those of you who are struggling at the moment, perhaps either struggling and hanging on by a thread to stay sober, or may have just had a bit of a slip and want to get sober again, or those of you who may be deep in addiction, thinking there's no way out, no way to get out of the deep, dark hole that you see yourselves in. It feels hopeless, you feel alone, you feel scared, afraid. Well, I want to share with you a message of hope really in this video. Back in 2006, I went to rehab. I was in England at the time, in Luton. And it was really what you call a spit and sawdust rehab, in that there was no frills. There was a sober house that the clients lived in, and there was no luxuries, or it was very, very strict. And I mean, I was frightened to death. I'd never done anything like that before. I had come from a background in managing pubs and restaurants and hotels, and had tried numerous times to stop taking drugs and drinking, and kept falling backwards, and it got worse and worse and worse each time, until finally, in despair, my family insisted really that I went to this rehab. And it was 3 months of hard work. And during the time I was in that rehab, I was probably the second oldest there, I think. And having tried many times before, there was quite a lot of much younger people there. And one of the counsellors who'd been sober, his name was Bill, I'll always remember him. I owe him a great debt of gratitude. He took me to one side. He didn't trust me to start with. We didn't get off on a very good foot. And for some reason, there was a lack of trust. But by the time it got to the end of the rehab and I was ready to graduate, we built a very strong bond, which remains to this day. And he'd been to jail and got sober sort of 15, 16 years before, I think. And it was a tower of strength in that place. He was in charge, if you like. And he took me into his office, and it was a sort of a one-to-one chat off the record. And he said to me, he gave me this piece of advice, and it's very, very simple, straightforward advice. It's not revolutionary, but it stuck in my head. And there was two little bits really, but the main bit was, he said, you're gonna, you'll leave here sober, but the chances are you're gonna have backward slips. You're gonna be clinging on by your fingernails to your sobriety at times. Bad things are gonna happen in your life because it's inevitable. That's life, isn't it? And you may feel like giving up. And he said to me, just very straightforward and very simple, he said, the moment that you give up, you might as well just give up on life, give up living. He said, it doesn't matter whether you're clinging on by your fingertips, it doesn't matter whether you're in addiction and think you can't get out, or, you've just had a relapse. Never, never give up, he said. Never give up. Always have that in your head. Always taking small steps and moving forward, and never give up. And he said, sometimes you have to just hold on. He said, you have to hold on a second, a minute, an hour, a day, a month. And it may feel like, you're clinging by your fingertips, but just hold on, and things inevitably will get better. And it's true what he said. But the never give up thing stuck in my head. It's a simple bit of advice. And it goes for life as well, particularly as you're getting older. The moment you give up and sit back on your laurels in your armchair and think that that's enough is the moment you putrefy, if you like. You go backwards, you stop growing, and your body senses that, and people get old very quickly. But never giving up trying to get sober was important to me, because I left that rehab and 6 months later I did relapse, and it went on and on and on this. And if you look back on my life story on this channel, because there's about 360 videos now, so please subscribe, like and share them. Just helps more people see them. Perhaps they'll help more people with me sharing my experiences. But basically it went on and on and on and on until, as I said in the last video, if you look at that one, 6 years ago, and I was 55. And that's another point I want to make. It's never, never too late. You may have used all your life, whatever your drug of choice is. You may have used all your life and tried countless times and relapsed countless times. You can't beat yourself up, because the point is, really deep down inside in your heart and your gut, when you're ready, when you're really ready, when you've really had enough of the shit that goes around with addiction. You've really had enough of letting people down. You've really had enough of killing yourself and damaging your health irreparably. You've really had enough of having no dignity, no self-respect, pissing your pants, doing all the things, having no money, having no job, no security, no safety, no freedom, and all the things that many, many more, the bad things that come along with addiction. When you've had enough. And when that truly is, you need to change, then you really have to want to change. But never giving up is so important. If I'd have given up before that point in 1950, I'd be dead. There's no doubt about that in my mind. I would be dead. So at 55, I made that choice, and it is a choice, to put everything into it, put everything into my sobriety. And it's been the single best thing I've ever done in my life. It's brought me it's brought my family back to me. It's brought me love. It's brought me, I've got some money in my pocket now. I've got a beautiful place that I live in, comfortable, a bed to sleep in, a roof over my head. Most importantly, in my health, I'm fitter and stronger and happier than I've ever been in my life. And there's been a couple of, if you look back on the channel, recently there was a small slip right back in March. And prior to that, just after I had to come back from the Camino the March before. And, they were only really short thanks to the support I had in place. But, in the first one, I felt the recrimination, I felt the guilt, and I felt the shame of that. But I didn't give up. I just went back and tried again and tried again. And it's frightening and it's fearful. Sometimes you have to face your fears. There's an old saying, isn't there, with fear? You can either forget everything and run away, fear, or you can face everything and rise. And you have to get it into your head to face everything and rise. Face everything you're frightened of. Face the pain, which is inevitable. Change is painful, but particularly trying to get sober and staying sober, it's painful. It's inevitable. But never give up. Always have that mindset. Hold on, it will get better. Nothing's permanent. Nothing in this world or life is permanent. It's changing constantly every second, and you will change with it, and you will be strong again. It doesn't matter how far deep, it's not a case of comparing how bad we are, and what stage of addiction we're at. I was near to death 6 years ago. There's no doubt in my mind I was vomiting blood every day. I just didn't leave my house only to get drugs and alcohol. It was a point my family didn't want to be near me. I had nothing, but I didn't give up. I faced it, and I've risen, and I feel great. And you can do the same thing. It's never too late to change your life. So good luck, and don't forget, Carpe Diem, seize the day today. Make today the day you change your life. Live strong and live free. Thank you for listening. Much love to you all. Bye-bye.